So, with Crisis on Infinite Earths premiering tonight on the CW, I figured it would be appropriate to talk about the original Superman movie from 1978, starring Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder and Gene Hackman. It's a good movie, go watch it. Okay, I'm just joking, of course, that's not the whole review. I joke, I keyed. Alright, so, Superman the movie, 1978. Well, what can I say? I usually start by telling the story, but it's Superman, you know the story. I mean, come on. A baby from a planet called Krypton is sent to Earth after Krypton is going to be destroyed. He comes to Earth, he is found by the Kent family, and he grows up to become Superman. And he saves Lois Lane 1,000,000 times. What else can I say? Why didn't I bring that? Number one. I don't know, but this is a good idea. As you see, I have all of the Superman movies up there, even the 2 separate discs from the collector's edition of the Superman movie DVD. Except for Superman Returns because couldn't find the damn DVD. But I'm going to get the Blu-ray eventually, so we'll do that. So the first thing I want to start off with is the first thing in the movie. Something that's been repeated over and over and over and over again in Superman mythology. They didn't do it for Smallville, and yes, I'm going to keep comparing this to Smallville because I think that's one of the best, if not the best representation of Superman without him actually being Superman, even though, you know, by season 8, he was pretty much Superman, just not being called Superman because no tights, no flights, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I was even watching some episodes of Smallville last night, and I was really enjoying season 5, so, you know. But anyway, we start off with the, you know, it's been portrayed. I think here in the animated series is where it's kind of been portrayed the most. You know, we start off with the sentencing of General Zod and his minions, and they get sent to the Phantom Zone, which is a cliffhanger they purposely left off for a sequel. Because if you didn't know, they shot this, Richard Donner, they were shooting this, and Superman 2 at the same time, but then Richard Donner was replaced by Richard Lester for the second film, which I might do today, I don't know yet. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. But, as you see, though, I do have the Richard Donner cut. So that would, if I did, that'd be one I would be reviewing. So, just beware of that. Which I don't think I've ever seen the Richard Donner cut. I bought it. And I don't think... I started watching it, but I didn't finish it. So I haven't seen it all the way through. So we'll get to that. But, so, yeah, and while watching this, I thought, why don't they ever listen? Why are they always so sure that nothing is going to happen? Now, the animated series explained this by setting up Brainiac as the one who was responsible for this. Brainiac is their AI, so to speak, that they trusted. And he was the one behind this, and he kept telling them, no, it's not going to happen. So because they they only trusted Brainiac. That's how it worked in the animated series, how it went down, which I like that. Better than just, we're ignorant and don't want to believe anything you say, even though we have no reason not to believe you, or not even any reason not to believe you, but we're not going to believe you anyway. I got thirsty. So, of course, Krypton is going to be destroyed. Jor-El, played by Marlon Brando, knows this, so he sends his baby Kal-El in the little rocket ship thing to Earth, where he's found by the Kents. And, you know, they kind of age, I guess. They kind of try to age him up, but they're old when they find Clark. So when they have Clark as a teenager, they I don't notice it in the dad, but specifically in Mrs. Kent, they age him up a little bit more. But we see Mrs. Kent in, later. Although I think she does die in the third one. But then when Superman Returns, they, ignore the third and the fourth, so I don't know. But yeah. Now, when I first watched this, I was into the Smallville, and I was amazed that, I don't know if they meant this, but the guy who plays the teenage Clark Kent in this movie, they did a good job of replicating that with Tom Welling, because they look somewhat similar in a way that, I'm like, wow. I know Superman movie was made first, obviously, but if that's what they were looking for when they cast Tom Welling in Smallville, then they did a good job, because they look very similar. Now, this is one thing that kind of irked me when I watched it this time. I'd never thought of this before until now. There's the scene where Clark is racing next to the train, and we see that Clark is clearly a teenager, right? And then you have Lois Lane sitting next to her mother on the train. She's like 10 years old, if even. But Lois and Clark have always been somewhat similar ages. And here's what really got me, because I looked it up on Wikipedia. You have 10-year-old Lois, teenage Clark, right? I saw a man going really fast. She never put two and two together as far as I remember, but when they're grown up, Christopher Reeve, Margot Kidder. Margot Kidder was 4 years older than Christopher Reeve. So, well, that's technically closer than 10 and 15, which is 5 years. Because I'm assuming Clark's at least 15, maybe older when they show him in high school. He's got to be at least 15 to be in high school, unless he's really, really smart and he's like I don't know. But it just, that kind of got me. I'm like, wait a minute. So I remember that. I'm like, oh yeah, she's on wait a minute. She's like 10 years old there. And Clark's at least 15 because he's in high school. I wonder if that's the actual age difference. So I looked up Wikipedia on my phone, and yeah, Margot Kidder is 4 years old, was 4 years, they're both passed away, may they rest in peace, was 4 years older than Christopher Reeve. I know it's just a movie, and I know it's comic book stuff, but can you be a little more accurate, please? Just a little bit. Excuse me, just a little bit. A little bit more accurate. Please. Please, just a little bit. Beyond that, so now we've okay, this is going to be comparing Smallville again. The death of Jonathan Kent. So, I've seen this 3 different times in 3 different Superman movies, alright? And the one that makes, not movies, but 3 different versions of Superman, I should say. And it makes the most sense, continuity-wise, in Smallville. I said it again. I'm just saying. Here, he has just a random heart attack. He starts, he's feeling it, and he just randomly has a heart attack. Dead. That's how it happens. In Man of Steel, he gets killed by a fucking tornado. But on Smallville, they actually set it up. And I remember, I didn't have cable when it happened, but my sister's friend came over and she watched it, and she said, "Oh, they killed the character off. Can you guess who it was we were talking about?" I'm like, "Jonathan Kent." She's like, "How did you know? Did you look on the internet?" I'm like, "No, I didn't look on the internet. It makes the most sense, you know?" Because, as I followed, I'd seen seasons 1 through 3. I rented, like, seasons 1 through 3 from the library, and I had seasons 1 and 2 at this point. And I'd seen season 4. And, I know that at the beginning of season 3, Jonathan Kent, to get Clark back after Jor-El forced him to go off, he went off the beaten path because he put on the red kryptonite, which makes him erratic. Red kryptonite ring. And Jor-El wants him back to Smallville because it's safer, So he imbues, he gives Jonathan Kent his powers to go get Clark. But because he's human, he can't, his body can't naturally hold Kryptonian powers, and eventually, it weakens his heart. And this leads to season 5 and his death, where eventually those heart problems, they catch up with him. And even though it's from yelling at Lionel Luthor, he dies. And it ties into the story as well, because Clark tells Lana his secret, but then she dies in a car accident, which results in him going to the fortress and telling him, please, I can't live without Lana. So he says he's going to reverse time, but where there is death, there will always be death. And he saves Lana, but Jonathan dies. That's where it makes the most sense continuity-wise. Here, back to the original film, which I'm supposed to be talking about. Sorry about that. Here, it's just a random heart attack. And I don't know if that's in the comics. If he just had a heart attack in the comics, but it just seems very random. And then we go to present day, 1978. So you gotta think that when they find him, it's at least the 1950s, right? Because you gotta think Christopher Reeve, even if they weren't going, no, Clark had to be in his 20s at this point, right? So, Kent gets a job at the Daily Planet. And you get the first Superman saves the day scene when Lois is in that helicopter. It's gonna crash, it's gonna fall. Superman saves the day, comes up, boom. Saves the day, Superman. Lex Luthor, played by Gene Hackman, the greatest criminal mind of our time, Lex Luthor. What is his plan? Here, a missile that's supposed to, one missile's going somewhere, but the other one is going to destroy a dam. But a missile's to destroy the world, I guess. For most of the film, Gene Hackman's wearing a wig over a bald cap, I think, or something like that. Or maybe it's just at the end where it's a bald cap and a wig. But I remember when I first watched this, I'm like, that's supposed to be Lex Luthor? He's not bald. I don't know why they do this. All right, maybe the actors don't want to be bald. Then cast a different actor. But they did it with this. They did it with Lois and Clark in Adventures of Superman, where you have Lex Luthor has hair. Lex Luthor is supposed to be bald. Batman v Superman is the one that pissed me off the most. I'm like, okay. I remember they cast Jesse Eisenberg, and I'm like, eh. But, let's see what he looks like as Lex Luthor. He's bald. Then I remember first promo image of Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, and he's got long orange freaking hair. I'm like, why can't they just have them a bald fucking Lex Luthor? Or cast an actor that's bald, like Billy Zane. Again, Smallville has been the only one to actually feature a prominently bald Lex Luthor throughout the entire freaking series or film. Okay? And yes, I know they were going for a bald Lex Luthor, but I'm sorry, the DCEU will get to those because I got my thoughts on those. But I'm just saying, Lex Luthor's supposed to be bald. Make him fucking bald. So, yeah, let's get to the climax because this review is getting a little bit long. So, we see throughout the whole film that Superman is out saving everyone. He saves Lois like 2 or 3 times. And there's that scene where he was about to tell Lois the secret, but he decides not to. And we get this climax where he's got to save the day, right? Saving the day. Saving the day. But, while he's busy trying to stop... Okay. Because this scene, like, irked me. Alright. Gas station... Lois goes to the gas station to fill her gas, right? She's freaking empty. Why wouldn't you check your gas before you... I don't know, but she goes to the gas station, she fills up her car with gas, and she leaves, and then something happens that causes the gas station to blow up. And then after that happens, all of a sudden, telephone poles are starting to just fall down randomly for no reason. Why? What? I don't know. But eventually she gets buried within the rock while Superman is trying to save the day. And we'll get to this because this ending confused the hell out of me. So he saves the day, right? He uses a bunch of freaking rocks to build another dam, which when they show the water going up into the thing, I'm like, that could easily go right over the rocks. It goes like, this is the rocks, it goes right to here, right? It goes right here. It easily could go right over the rocks, but it just goes, I'm like, no. With this power, much power as that was going, it really went right over. But it's a movie, okay? Fuck it. But Lois ends up dead because he's too busy saving the day over there. So he flies around the Earth in a counter, just like opposite to how it normally spins and reverses time. So he can go back and save Lois. However, he reversed time. So now there's not 2 Supermen. There's him. Because he went out and he went back. There's not 2 Supermen. He's the Superman in this situation. So while he went back to save Lois, who's stopping the water? Because as we clearly saw, she was trapped and dying while he concurrently with him flying in and saving the people and fixing the dam and all that. Concurrently, at the same time. So while he went back, there's not another Superman. There's not, or else we'd see 2 Supermen. So while he went back to save Lois, he chose to save Lois this time, which means that little town that the water's that he saved, nope, they'd be all drowned and dead. I'm sorry. But they never explained it. They just cut from him saving Lois to flying off to bringing Lex Luthor and Otis to jail and being congratulated by them. But they never explain what exactly happened. Did he still save the day? Because, Lois's death and the Superman saving the day happened same time. So for him to go back, turn, and instead of doing this, he saves Lois, it would cause, problems. I'm just saying. But it is a good movie, and I gotta praise some things here. Special effects are 50-50 in this. Because, 1978 special effects half of the special effects are great. And then there's another half where it's just like, ugh. Like, some scenes of Superman flying when it's like this are good. But when it's like this, painfully obvious it's cut and paste. The cinematography is great too. Like, there's the scene where when Clark finds the green crystal, which I don't know if it's kryptonite or if it's supposed to be green. I don't know. And then we cut to Mrs. Kent yelling for him to wake up, and she looks out the window, and there's the scene where Clark is standing on top of the hill, the dog is running, and you got the sun in the background, just like the sunset or the sunrise. Yeah, sunrise. Beautiful. That was gorgeous. Great. And then we got the score. John Williams. If you go to someone and say, John Williams, name me, name off 3 John Williams. Say John Williams. If you go to someone and say, what 3 film franchises do you think of when I say John Williams? They will say Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and Superman. The iconic scores that he does for those 3 films, not specifically Superman here, but absolutely great. I absolutely love the score that he does. John Williams, to me, there are 2 great composers when it comes to musical score. John Williams, John Carpenter. Both Johns. Okay? It's beautiful. It really is. The score, it sets the tone for the film. You got, like when music plays with Destruction of Krypton, or when, like I said, that scene where he's out there standing on the thing and the score plays, or then at the beginning of the movie, and end of the movie with the dun 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 dun. It's absolutely beautiful. Guys, I'm running a little long on this review, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it my rating. Superman the movie, despite my problems with it, is a great film, and I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. All right. 8 out of 10 for me. So what are your thoughts on Superman the movie from 1978? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. That'll be chicken grease. I thought I was going to do something else, but I can't think of it. So, goodbye. I did it again. I clicked it and the thing. Go away. Bye.